Second topic, Giants 2021 year in review. I know I'm a little bit late to this, but I wanted to do it because the Giants 2021 year was the exact opposite of everything I thought it was going to be. I came into the year super excited. I think a lot of Giants fans did. We finished off the year of 2020 6-10, but every game besides, I'm trying to remember any where we didn't have a fighting chance. It just seemed like the team every game was getting better. Joe Judge really had this team united. Patrick Graham really had this defense buzzing. And not going to say anything nice about Jason Garrett in the offense, but the offense was doing its job, and we were winning games, and we were close in games that we lost. So I came into this year just so excited. I mean, I was so hyped. And then after the free agent signing of Kenny Golladay, Adoree Jackson, I was like, this is it. I mean, the NFC East is ours for the taking. Every team in the NFC East was awful last year. So I thought this was the year we were going to, win the East, go to the playoffs. And as most Giants fans or football fans know, that is absolutely not what happened. Joe Judge was not ready to be a head coach. And that's a really sad thing to say, but it started to show itself a lot this year. And the first instance I can remember of it was in the Washington game. For anyone who's not familiar with Joe Judge to the point that Giants fans are, the guy preached discipline. That was his biggest thing. I'll never forget in his press conference, he was like, we're going to be physical, we're going to be smart, la-da-da-da-da, used car salesman pitch. And he sold me. I would have bought the car. I did buy the car. But this year, in the Washington game, the end of the game, they kicked a field goal to win the game. They missed it, but because Dexter Lawrence, I believe, jumped off sides, we lost the game. Now there's dispute. He didn't jump off sides. He did. But at the time, the refs called that he did. And we lost the game because I got to re-kick the field goal. It was one of the most heartbreaking losses I've ever watched. Daniel Jones played a great game. The offense, I thought, played a great game. And then the defense just couldn't do anything. And then, an undisciplined team loses games. And you watch all these videos that the Giants put out, and you read all the things on Twitter, and you watch all the Joe Judge press conferences, and you're like, oh, no, we're a disciplined team. We're going to be a disciplined team. And that was just not the case this year. And from the Washington game, it just felt like it was all downhill. You just can't have a coach that's as rah-rah as Joe Judge and then getting the results he had on the field. When those two things happen, especially in New York, you run into a lot of problems. And then, throughout the season, it just, like I said, it kept getting worse. And, by the end of the year, Joe Judge, it felt like every game he was playing not to lose. Not playing to win, just playing not to lose. And we finally got to see that philosophy full out in all of its ugly colors against Washington again, when on a second down in our 10-yard line, 10-yard line area, he decided to QB sneak. And then on the third down, he decided to QB sneak. So for anyone who doesn't know, a QB sneak, the quarterback takes it and basically falls forward and hopes he gets a yard. You do that when you're trying to convert a 3rd and inches, a 4th and inches, maybe right on the goal line. But when it's 2nd down and 10, and then 3rd down and 9, that's not when you do that. And what Joe Judge was doing was he basically said, I have no faith in my offense. I'm not trying to win this game. I just want to punt. And I want to let my defense stop them. And it was one of the most wild things I've ever seen in a football game in my life. I've never seen it. Giants community blew up. Everyone was just rip shit about it, and more power to him. I was completely floored. I couldn't believe it happened. And then the next week, I believe we played the Bears, or maybe it was the week before we played the Bears, and his press conference, someone asked him a question of why should players believe in the process? Or why should Giants fans believe in the process? Which probably is a minute and a half answer. And Joe Judge went on an 11-minute rant about all these silly things that aren't true. He decided to bash Patrick Shermer, our old head coach. He decided to bash the Washington football head coach, or the Commanders head coach, Ron Rivera, about players punching each other on the sideline. And again, it went for 11 minutes. And again, after I heard that, my jaw had dropped. I just couldn't believe that this was Joe Judge. It was just really, really sad, and yeah, just really sad. I was really excited for Joe Judge. I really liked him, and it just didn't work out. I wish there was more I could say about it, but he didn't know. Well, okay, one other thing. By the way, first episode, guys, so just bear with me. Going through my notes here, getting it all sorted out. But another problem with Joe Judge was his time management and understanding of the rules. Like, I remember he challenged a scoring play, so he threw the red flag. And when you throw the red flag to challenge something, if it doesn't go in your favor, you lose a timeout. I've been a big football fan now for about 6 years, which I know isn't that long. I'm 26 years old, so I've only been a football fan for like 6 years. I know that you don't challenge scoring plays because every single scoring play in the NFL is reviewed. So basically, that means every scoring play is looked at by the people in New York to make sure it was a scoring play. So there's no need to challenge it. So when Joe Judge challenged it, the ref said, we're already doing it. You lose a timeout. Head coaches should understand the rules of the NFL, in my opinion. So that was problematic. And then his time management sometimes were a little bit concerning when he was calling timeouts and when he was deciding to challenge things. So, I felt like we just kind of watched Joe Judge unravel in a 17-game season. Now, the other part about the Giants' 2021 year in review that we need to talk about, and again, I saved this till the end because it's going to segue into the next topic, is the injuries. The Giants were absolutely destroyed by injuries. Some notable players that went down very quick were Nick Gates, our center, who had a gruesome leg injury, had to have like 6 surgeries. Linebacker Blake Martinez, who's one of the key members in our defense, he tore his ACL. Kadarius Toney, our rookie, was injured in and out of the lineup. Kenny Golladay was injured and in and out of the lineup. Sterling Shepard was injured in and out of the lineup and then finally taken out at the end of the year. Saquon Barkley against the Cowboys, we watched his ankle get rolled. The man's made of plastic, I swear. The guy just can't have a healthy season. And then Daniel Jones, trying to do too much. He tried to take, I believe it was a Cowboys linebacker, head on and basically concussed himself to the point where drool was coming out of his mouth when he stood up and had to be taken out of the games. So injuries were deadly. I even went to the Eagles game, the last game the Giants won. It was at MetLife, right at the beginning of the game, and it was a second down right at the beginning, and Jones decided to run in. It was like a QB run, so like he hands it off, but he doesn't hand it off. He keeps it and he runs. And Jones has this really great knack for just, instead of sliding, going out of bounds, he likes to run into people thinking he's like a running back, but he's not. He's a quarterback. And so he goes head first. And again, I'm up like in the nosebleed seats and I see it. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, he has to be injured. Now, he wasn't at the time. Jones finished the whole game. He didn't really do anything special, but he finished the whole game and looked fine. And then the next day, I'm now home going to work, and Jones has a neck injury and is out for the year. And I would do this thing. I'd watch with my girlfriend. And every time Mike Glennon, our backup quarterback, made a mistake or did something stupid, I wanted to say, I wonder if Daniel Jones thinks it's worth it. I want to ask him, were the 2 yards running into the Eagles players worth it for this? It was just so aggravating. But we had a ton of injuries. Now, what that coupled with, and when we transition into this third topic, it really gave us the final nail in the coffin for Dave Gettleman.